Plumbing the door. First, a little door terminology. The piece of wood atop the door is the header. The pressure-treated piece below is called the threshold. The side pieces are called jambs. One has hinges on it, the other has the latch. To start off, if necessary, adjust both door rafters to where you want them to be on top of the door. Then screw them in place with the 4-inch screws provided up through the header into the rafters. Now remove both temporary braces and take them out of the yurt to make more room for the people taping the insulation. Now, back out both threshold screws until the threshold can move. These next 3 steps must be done in order. Step 1. Plumb the hinge jamb in and out by moving the hinge side of the threshold in or out. When the hinge jamb is plumb, lightly resync the screw into the hinge side of the threshold. Make a reference mark on the floor against the threshold near the hinge side screw. Step 2. Even up the gap between the top of the door and the header by sliding the threshold left or right. The reveal at the top of the door should be slightly smaller on the latch side. This almost always means sliding the threshold toward the latch side. Doors always sag latchward. You'll have to back out the screw you put in on the side of the hinge in the threshold. That 1-inch gap that you left between the jamb and the skirt board will come in handy here. But if you need to slide hingeward or more than 1 inch latchward, cut away a little notch of skirt. Once the gap is correct, check your reference mark to make sure you haven't messed up step 1. Now resync the hinge side threshold screw permanently. Step 3. Slowly bring the door closed. It should contact the top and bottom of the jamb simultaneously. To adjust it, slide the latch side threshold in or out. When you're done, sink the latch side threshold screw permanently. A gentle push should now cause the door to latch shut with a satisfying sound. Finally, tighten the wing nuts on the door clamps. Hand tight is enough. Putting up the roof insulation. Begin by carrying the folded insulation out the door, fat end first. Set up the step ladder again in the center of the yurt, and have someone hold the ladder while your ladder person works on it. As the insulation is exiting the yurt, pass the tail end, which is the small end, up onto the roof and slide it up to the ladder person. Unfold the insulation till it covers half the yurt. Work the insulation around to the windward side and then have the ladder person flip the insulation open over their head. There is no in or outside to the roof insulation. Now the ground people can complete the opening of the insulation. Center it and clothespin it down to the tension cable if it is breezy, and move on to the next step right away before the insulation blows off. Installing the roof vinyl. Start by bringing the heavy bundle of roof vinyl to near the door. Lay the bundle with the bottom edge pointing away from the yurt and the folds on top. Untie it. Have someone on the ladder just inside the yurt. Have someone else hold the ladder. Set up a second ladder just outside the door if needed, though it may just get in the way. With 3 to 4 people, lift the bundle onto the roof without unfolding it or changing its orientation. Do not put too much weight on the door awning while you are doing this. Shimmy the bundle up until it is completely on the roof. While you are doing this, hold on to the roof insulation so it does not slide up too. Unfold the roof vinyl up the roof until the ladder person can grab it. A couple of poles can help with this. A rope usually does not help. Have them pull the roof vinyl up until a few inches of it can be folded over the ring. If necessary, pull the insulation back down to where it wants to be over the door so that it is still centered on the central ring. While keeping it from sliding back down, everyone works together to unroll the roof like a scroll in both directions until the material covers half the roof. Now the ladder person will pull the upper layer of material over their head. This is difficult. Make it easier by having someone puff air between the layers at the door. Also, at the door, someone must hang on to the lower layer so it does not slide up too. Once over their head, the ladder person feeds the material down the back of the yurt. The people on the ground keep working the material down and over until they meet up at the back. Giving the ladder person a pole to push may help, but a rope from below probably won't help. With the ladder person giving instructions, have the ground people center the roof vinyl on the central ring. The ground people must pull tight to take out the wrinkles, especially in cold, cloudy weather. When doing this, pull on the flap, not directly on the belt loops. The flap is the 12 inches of roof that hangs down over the wall. The belt loops are sewn into the flap. Now align the awning in the roof flap with the wooden door awning by sliding clockwise or counterclockwise. The person at the door shouts instructions to 3 evenly spaced people around the yurt. These other people will probably each need their own stepladder. The person at the door centers the vinyl awning as precisely as possible on the wooden awning. Also, adjust the roof insulation again at this time if necessary. Now, the ladder person directs the ground crew to recenter the vinyl, and you repeat the awning alignment and the roof centering back and forth until you've got them both right on. Now screw through the roof vinyl to the top of the roof ring with 10 inch and 5/8 screws provided. Hold these screws back an inch from the inside edge. Finally, cut off any fabric or insulation layers that protrude inside the ring and may be visible from below. Threading the smaller cable. This step can take a while and may be a bottleneck, so get a crew going on it as soon as you can. Oh, by the way, you're about half done the raising. Congratulations! If necessary, I recommend eating lunch in shifts to allow the process to keep moving, especially if there's rain predicted tomorrow. Okay, start by feeding the 1/8 inch cable through the V's sewn every 18 inches underneath the flap. These are not the belt loops on the outside of the flap. You can start anywhere except at the door. Have one person feed the cable through the first loop to prevent tearing it. As the leading edge of the cable progresses around the yurt, have people behind feeding it forward. A piece of tape over the end of the cable will help you not stab yourself. At the door, the cable runs over the door, and there are no V's here. Upon reaching back where you started, walk around once more, just checking for loops and snags. And do not pull the cable tight, just snug it up a little to take out any slack. You don't want to cause the V's to invert up the roof. Finally, secure the cable with 2 supplied cable clamps, one near each end of the cable, and tighten them with the adjustable wrench. Sliding up the skylight. This can be done anytime after the roof vinyl is up. Have someone climb the ladder with a blanket. Next, have them throw the blanket down on the side of the yurt closest to the ground, but stay holding on to the end of it. Now have them lay it out flat. It should hang over the roof edge if possible. Now have 2 or 3 people carry the skylight to the yurt. Set it up on the roof, right side up, walking it up till it is past the lower edge of the blanket. Now the person on the ladder gently pulls the blanket up. The ground people should help keep the blanket from slipping out. The ladder person pulls the skylight right up onto the ring and slides the blanket out. During this entire process, be careful not to tear any of the gray foam skylight insulation. If you did, repair it now. Next, thread a length of gold paracord through the hole drilled near the bottom of every other skylight rib. A piece of bent wire may help thread the paracord through the hole. Pass one end of each paracord around the top of the nearest rafter, and using a trucker's hitch, tighten down the skylight as tight as you possibly can. You can get it even tighter by lashing both sides of the hitch together. Finally, tie off and tuck in the paracord. Attaching the 6-inch smoke pipe adapter if you have a central chimney through your skylight. The smoke pipe adapter goes flared end up inside the skylight flange. Use a torpedo level to make it look pretty. Secure it by screwing through the 4 existing holes in the skylight flange. The screws need only dimple the adapter, or they can pierce it. Pre-drilling some of the holes may make screw insertion easier. Now, some notes for later on when you are installing your stove. When you attach your 6-inch single wall flue pipe, you will not cut, crimp, or screw into the adapter. The adapter is undersized, so the flue pipe can telescope right over it. You will overlap the uncrimped end of the topmost section of flue pipe over the adapter by 4 to 6 inches. That way, the yurt roof can move in wind or under snow without putting weight on the stove. When you take your flue pipe out in the spring to clean it, leave it out till fall. This way, the chimney through the skylight will act as a warm air vent without letting in rain. Hanging the outer vinyl wall. First, untie the rolled up outer wall and carry it to the right side of the door, outside. Hold the roll vertical with the brass grommets at the bottom and the Velcro tabs at the top. Unroll a few feet of wall. Hold it up against the yurt so the edge of the vinyl just touches the latch block, and lift it up till it touches the bottom of the wooden awning. Now, with a hammer, lightly tap on the top snap to leave an impression in the wood of the jam wing. Screw in a snap bottom to the jam wing where you made the mark. Snap the wall to the jam wing. Now, holding the wall taut, down, and parallel with the jam, tap on the remaining snaps, marking the wood. Screw in the snap bottoms and snap the rest of the wall to the jam wing. Now begin to work your way around the yurt, hanging the vinyl from the Velcro tabs. Attach the tabs to the smaller 1/8-inch cable tucked up under the flap, not the larger tension cable inside. Oh, skip the first tab. It won't want to cooperate. Make sure to keep taking the wrinkles out as you go around. Now, when you're 2/3 of the way around, stop attaching tabs, but continue unrolling the roll up to the door. Now, attach this end of the wall vinyl just as you did at the very beginning. There's no latch block here, but leave the same amount of wing jam showing just the same. Once the end of the vinyl is snapped to the wing jam, work your way back to the point where you left off, attaching the Velcro tabs. Form a fold here, not over a window or where the chimney will exit if you've got a wall chimney. Locate the leading edge of the fold at a tab to prevent slumping. Attach all the tabs of the fold to the 1/8-inch cable as they should be.